welcome back to the Amplifying Girls Voices Podcast. And my name is Hazel Mashahanya, the African Queen, period. And today I'm joined by my beautiful, lovely sisters, Rolly and Haley, the Queen. And today we're talking about a very interesting topic, AMA 2K.
It's the it topic.
I knew you had something to say to that.
Oh my god.
So to start this off, can I just get a general definition of what AMA 2K means?
Like a normal definition of what AMA 2K means is like someone born after the 2000s.
Yes.
But then now outside, when you say AMA 2K, it's almost as if you're saying relationship, nudity, parties, drugs.
Yeah, like the word AMA 2K in itself, in as much as you know, it's meant to refer to a group of people who were born after the 2000s. Yeah. It immediately has negative connotations. When you think AMA 2K, really, a picture comes into mind for most people, especially, you know, the older generations, millennials, your baby boomers. Yeah, we're talking about true boomers. Okay, so yeah, there's immediately negative vibes when people talk about AMA 2K. It's never anything positive.
Yeah. So basically, from what you guys said, AMA 2K is anyone born after 2000, generally. But then, what's interesting is that I didn't ask you what would come to mind when you hear AMA 2K, but that was just the definition.
You can't help but because really ungahloti AMA 2K.
It's like some sort of a boombox, like some sort of people who come from a totally
Okay, let's explore
place
that. Could you tell me what comes to mind when you think AMA 2K? Like everything, just from the top of your head.
Like personally, I'm a 2K, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was born after 2000, and it's fine.
Yes.
But anyway,
it's fine.
I think that like when you say I'm a 2K, I see myself personally like a normal person who just came after the changing of times. We're not from the same time as our parents or the people before us. We came when certain things were done in different ways.
Yes.
And now that we're doing those things, it's almost as if we are the problem.
Like standards are looser for the new generation because you know people are becoming less traditional and less traditional. So now the traditional people are obviously going to take offense, and it's not even their fault. They are going to take offense because they believe in traditionalism. They believe in certain customs, practices, acts that, like how a child should be in their mind is different from how children are these days.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, are you saying there's a difference between the elderly people's generation, like the 90s, 80s, and the 2000s?
Thank you for asking that, guys. I don't think there's a difference.
Yes.
You know, if you were to sit down right now and have an honest conversation with your gran, she will tell you also back in her day, they used to rock miniskirts, they used to go, there's a disco.
Yeah.
They used to go to jive, okay?
Yeah.
But for us, because we are now in a very much technological based era, so much of it is documented, right? So people can see so many different things that young people are doing.
Yes.
So with that, there is so much saturation of information, overexposures, and it now seems like 2Ks are doing too much. 2Ks are doing what every single child is doing, except now we have cameras to record it.
When you say that the 2Ks are doing too much, like you get into a taxi and then you find out the elderly people that are talking, and then they're saying every 2K is pregnant. All of them. But then they're missing the fact that we're in a time where there are thousands of us. And out of those 100 girls are pregnant. And when you compare the ratios, they're fine. They grew up in a time where there were 100 girls and 5 girls got pregnant and it was okay. But now because there are 1,000 2Ks and 100 are pregnant, it suddenly seems like it's a huge difference, but then the line is very small.
I would actually say we are a better generation in the fact that if you notice, most of us or most of our siblings, you know, they come from maybe our mothers who got pregnant at an early age and whatnot. But then with our generation, I think it's actually lower because we have prevention methods, we've got new ideas, we know how to practice safe sex. So wouldn't you say that's a better generation?
You know, and generally what you are saying, basically people these days are more educated than they've ever been, especially our generation. And with education, people are postponing starting families, having children till a later age, because you know that I want to be driving a certain car or living in this particular house.
Yes.
You know, exactly. We prioritize the soft life and working towards the soft, like hustling.
True.
One thing about 2K is the hustle.
Yeah.
Because of that soft life, and then postpone all these other things. I feel like, I don't know. There are teenage pregnancies in such cases, but most of the time you'll find that it's not as intentional as it was back then. Like right now, if someone messes up, there are so many options that you can take to rectify your mistake.
And then you find out that the people who are actually criticizing us and judging us, they might be taking it from a point of jealousy. Why are they living this certain life that we weren't living?
But they didn't dance when they had the chance to.
Exactly. So and now people doing it to some sort of a bad thing, some sort of an unknown thing that cannot be happening. But then it's just like the way of life now. We adapt to change.
Yes. So what Hayley actually said is quite interesting, and I think we should pick on that more. The fact that maybe the reason why there is such a negative response on AMA2Ks from the elderly or the older generations is because AMA2K, at the end of the day, we are a free generation.
Yeah, we're living a life modern, they wish they could live.
So where do you think all this jealousy is being perpetuated from?
You know, like we're the generation that came with telling our parents that, no, mom, I can't do this at 15. And then now your mom is thinking, when I was your age, my dad told me that I have to get married to this man, and I had to do that. I was told that I can finish school, and I had to do that. And now she's looking back and she's seeing you actually, you're fighting the system for a change, and then she thinks, no, I can't allow that. That didn't happen to me, because we cannot skip the fact that most parents hate their kids anyway. So they're gonna do everything to stop that. So think about it. So think about it. If your parent is doing that to you, how is the other parent from next door going to take it? Obviously, they're all going to come together and do that same thing because they don't want change.
You know, like Hayley, I have such a different interpretation. I feel like personally, it's the fact that AMA2K are able to live a life that they wish they could have lived. We are able to freely express ourselves, dress the way we want. If you want to have bold red eye makeup, that's fine, no one will even look at you. But they couldn't express themselves the way we do. We empower each other. We have the confidence to, you know, truly be who we are. But as for them, you know, like there were so many should I say, like unspoken rules within the society that you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. But now, like, babe, as long as you're happy, as long as you're safe, I honestly couldn't care what you're doing.
So that's a very interesting interpretation, that maybe this is just a jealousy from a generation that didn't get to experience some of the things we're going through. I feel like it's a privilege that we'll actually hear Citadels girls talking, because long ago it wasn't exactly something that could happen. Women weren't allowed to speak out on issues. They didn't even have the opportunity. So it's pretty amazing, and it's things like that we should be appreciative of at the end of the day. And then I wanted to ask this, because this is personal. This is now us. How does the AMA2K mantra affect us as girls?
You know, it comes with the stereotypes, the generalization that people right now in the community are looking at young girls expecting to see you with a belly at any day, or expecting, you know, for you to fail because AMA2K batandi piano, you know, manga here and there, you know. Exactly. So now you're always living on edge, living off of the expectations of other people that are not you, that are not living your life, that have never had the same life experiences as you. So now, guys, ningasfaki pressure, because live the best life that suits you, and the people's standards are going to have to then adapt to your life rather than you conforming to their standards.
Yes. You know, I think that when it comes to my 2K, we're not saying, like, please don't get us wrong, we're not saying that all the 2Ks are perfect. Of course they have flaws.
His children will be children. Guys, children make mistakes.
That's what we're saying, and they do have faults. And then when you're walking down the street, and then Ugogo from down the street, who's very well known, he sees those two, they are just working there, and then she already thinks, okay, I see what's happening there. Because they're 2000, they think they can do that in the streets. Okay, that's fine. And then there comes me, Hayley, Miss Pumela and Kaya, from I don't even know
now
what
you are
was
catching the
outside.
smoke because of what other people were doing.
And then she's starting to say, yeah, why don't you talk to your other friends? Why are you like this? I wasn't there. You did not see me. I didn't do that. You can't say because I'm a 2K, I was also part of that group. It just can't. So I think that mantra, it falls for everyone, and then everyone is now put into the circle of people who are doing the wrong thing. But they're kids. It's part of growing up.
Yeah, so what I'm getting with this whole vibe is that as girls, you have been heavily affected by this I'm a 2K mantra because it now sets you out as a specific person that you necessarily aren't.
Expected to
so you are expected to do something, you're expected to go to parties all night every day and whatnot. That might not be you, that could be you, but I don't think you should be limited to such a view. I don't think so.
Like, we're living in a world where we have to prove ourselves.
Yeah,
because you're constantly fighting over standards that were set for you.
Yeah, because your neighbor is waiting for you to fall pregnant so that they can shame your parents.
Yeah, that is true.
The teacher at school is waiting for you to drop out so that they can shame your parents.
Yes.
But I think all this comes back to our parents. We cannot be the way we are if it wasn't for our parents. Yeah. They're going around saying the 2K is this and that, but those are the same people that raised us. We did not make ourselves. We grew up under certain rules, and I think that is.
But you know, that's your parents could have raised you, but so could have the streets. Hey, so could have your community. I feel like so it very much depends on what had the most influence in your life at a particular time. Because there are some people, like I've seen in Ghana's Zabo Mfundisi, who are wild, but obviously those are not the principles that are taught at home, but because of the community and, you know, basically things like peer pressure from your friends, influence from influencers trying to live the lifestyle that's not yours, you end up doing things that are out of character. Or that are your character but not your parents' character. Guys, you don't have to grow up to be like your parents say.
Our parents want us to grow up to be like them. Because I was a dog. You can't do acting, you can't do that.
All I'm saying is, guys, you should ask for your parents' reports one day. If you catch them smiling one day, just ask. Because every single parent was number one at school, and you all should ask yourselves questions, right, when it comes to that.
So now I feel like what I'm hearing from this is that the reason why we act the way we are might be because of the overcompensation of our parents at the end of the day, because they lived a certain lifestyle. They tried to make sure that we don't live a certain lifestyle. So at the end of the day, maybe we're taking too much from that. Maybe we're abusing that power or that opportunity. You get new clothes every week.
It's abusing, guys, because at the end of the day, I feel like people, you're living in the world as it is in this moment. And the world we currently live in, people are prioritizing different things than they did maybe in the 90s and the 80s, 70s.
Different eras.
So now people are going to prioritize drip. So people these days care more about what they are wearing. They're going to prioritize their aesthetics, you know, like is it giving cottagecore, dark academia, like what aesthetic are you giving? But at the end of the day, like, it's all based off how our lives are right now. Even if we're to change certain circumstances, certain elements, make our parents more strict, I feel like it wouldn't change the way the world is today.
So and guys, I'm going to care as a result of the world today.
Like the world has to change and evolve, and this is the world changing and evolving.
And the rest of the generations, they're not catching up fast.
But guys, like, are they like positives of Ama2K? Because we've been like bashing Ama2K, because right now I'm just thinking that in as much as they may say all these negative things, we are the generation that is so outspoken. We are rallying against, you know, climate change, LGBTQA plus rights, so many things. We're more educated than we've ever been in the world. We are so supportive and accepting of each other. Like, you really like, it's there, of course, but you really find a 2K looking at someone else and like, you know what they're wearing is so inappropriate. Like, it's so much like back. Just vibes. People are out here to live vibes, as Ama2K.
Exactly. It takes me back to like the George Floyd protests. Like, basically racism has been one of the biggest problems in the world globally, but then it's only our generation that has been
like, did you see the 2Ks that
to-
Stellenbosch yelling at the VP to expel the racist
revolutionary.
Can
They're
you
actually
see?
making a change.
Yeah.
They may say social media, oh my, they're always on their phones. Like, I know 2Ks that have taken down entire like political systems just by hashtags tweeting it
On their phone.
on their phones.
True.
Because we grew up in a time where phones and TV were the only things to do.
Yeah.
They grew up in a time
I
where
wasn't
they
allowed to
could
play outside.
You see?
I was not allowed to play outside.
And that is
And
because of our
yeah.
parents. And now we're always on our phones. They were supposed to. And then when what's wrong with you? Why are you anti-social?
So not to make this seem one-sided, I think I went out and I asked adults, by adults I mean my mom, why
That
she
counts
thinks
too.
basically the AMA 2Ks are negative, and she said that it's because the older generation basically doesn't believe that we can fill in their shoes after. So basically a country survives on a government, on doctors and all that, medical system, it's all those things, and they don't believe because there's so much hype about influencers, trends and whatnot, we won't be able to live sustainably or
I
long
feel
enough.
like we will. People are going to realize that we're going to need to survive, and people are going to fill in those gaps. Or, as better yet, since we're technologically based, people are just going to invent things that will then do those things for us, so that we have time for growth.
Exactly, like the ministers, the presidents today, the members of parliament.
Exactly,
they
like
went
especially
always-
in an African setting, how many people in power are actually willing to let AMA 2K come and shadow them, or actually allowing people, even let's say 30s going down, to be in
Yes.
positions of power, so that we
They
then
prove
create a cycle
themselves,
whereby we're
yes.
teaching each other, we're taking up these roles. They themselves are selfish and are gatekeeping certain spaces from
Yes.
us.
So I don't think they should make a judgment that we won't be able to live
We're
sustainably.
still, yeah.
We
You
haven't
can have
proven ourselves.
influencer doctors.
Exactly.
You can
That's
have
what I'm saying,
influencer
like,
doctors.
The
Okay.
presidents and the ministers and they weren't always that perfect. They weren't always members of parliament. They went
They
went
learned
past through the
and they
stage.
The stage,
Like,
yeah.
we're still 18, 19, 15, there's room for change. And even though I feel like we could fill up those spaces, it's just that we don't need to right now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure we all watched Sarafina, that documentary. Like, the grown-ups, they were actually adapting to that lifestyle. They said, no, it's fine. The white people are taking over. We're living by their rules.
But it
But
was
it was the young
children.
people, the same
Yes.
AMA 2000s, just to be clear, who actually stood up and rose to power. They sacrificed their own lives,
Okay.
which is something me and you could both do
Yeah.
if we were in this scenario. But I'm not saying I'll do that. No, definitely.
Hi,
not.
you guys were saying being Haley to war, please help. Anyone needs a hitman.
So to round this all up, can I get maybe your perspectives on the AMA 2K
Wait,
mantra?
before you round up, there is something. This comparison thing. Like,
Yes.
there's just some things that you can compare. You can compare a pot and a cup. It just
Yeah.
doesn't work like that. My mom, personally, for me, my mom, I know you're watching this, but I'm so sorry. I have to expose you. My mom be like, hey, Wayne, what's wrong with you? Do you know, I grew up in a time where I walked from town to here just to go to school. And then when you complain of just going from home to that tap to get a bucket. And then I'm asking my mom, I didn't grow up in that time. When I was
different,
born,
like
they were
the
cars.
generational
You know, I went to
difference.
school with cars, and then my mom be expecting me to walk from here to town.
And it's also
cannot
AMA 2K.
do that.
Get out of your comfort zone,
yeah.
guys. Do the hard things regardless, because we may not have the soft life forever.
Really,
Yeah.
when you go to town on feet.
I pela now be reasonably
You
so.
see, our parents are not reasonable. That's the
Okay,
thing.
okay.
They're not being reasonable at all.
So we're getting very personal. A girl had to vent.
Okay,
The
yeah,
girl
you
had
know
to
what?
vent.
I
had
heard
to say
you.
that.
So last views on AMA 2K mantra. Start with Rory.
generally, I stan Ama2K. Guys, please keep living your best lives. One day, you guys, we're going to have our first influencer president, and I will vote for that person regardless. So, all I'm saying is we should not be too quick, to pass judgment to the different generations, but rather, adapt and amalgamate the differences in generations to create the world we have today. So, embrace the good, the bad from Ama2K, and we'll embrace the good, the bad from the millennials.
Yes. Really?
Guys, just live your lives the way you know how. Like, just do it. If you feel like you want to do it, just do it. And also
Nike that.
And also have limits though. Like, in as much as we might say, yeah, the 2K is this and that, there are just some things that some of us may be doing that are not good for the society or the community. Just think about it, and have fun.
Okay, so you heard it from the two queens. Have fun, but be wise. Last words for me would be live your best life, but live to be great every single day. So whatever it is you're doing, make sure you're great at it. If you're gonna be a party animal, that's you. If you're gonna be the president, girl, keep on going. So thank you so much for staying tuned. Till we meet next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.